Hi folks, and welcome back to Strathpeffer Spa Model Railway. Now first of all I need to apologise to all my subscribers who've been hanging on for an update. It's been over a year since my last update. Now I've got loads of excuses. My laptop's broken, my video editing software is knackered, I lost my model railway mojo for a while, I got really busy at work, but then coronavirus hit, lockdown, and like many modelers we found a bit of time to reconnect with the hobby. So I need to apologise because this video will be raw. There'll be not much editing, and if I happen to stutter or mess up or swear, again apologies. Like I said, I haven't got any editing software anymore. This is literally on my phone, so we'll take it as it is, and we'll have a look at the layout and how I've got on over the last few months with it. So starting from the station, you may recognise and remember the station building. There it is there. Now the layout has come quite a way since our last updating video, so let's go for it. So at this end, what I've done is I've just quickly put in some Wales kit brickwork here just to cap that off, because that was originally polystyrene. The track is now completely ballasted in places using a mixture of Woodland Scenics fine and medium ballasts, brown and medium grey. I've also then weathered it using my airbrush and put down foliage using static grass and fine turf foliage, and we'll just have a look through the track work as we go through. We've got various signs from model railway scenery there. You may remember the point rodding that I'd put in on my last video. Now this building here, that is the later LMS edition of the station canopy. Again, that was supplied by York Modelling. I basically took the measurements of it. That is still in existence today, so I took the measurements of it, sent loads of photos to them, and then they produced a little additional kit to go on the side of the main building. And it just really completes the building quite nicely, and I'm very happy with the way that station building looks. Moving on, this is a Highland Railway goods shed. It was a very common design through the Highlands, and there were many variations of this building dotted around Thurso, Garve, Strathpeffer, to name but a few. And this was actually a kit supplied by a small company on the internet called Highland Pop-Ups, who have their own little laser cutting machine, and they're a charity-based business. And it just so happened I was searching for the plans for this building so I could scratch build one, but I came across this company, and for 30 quid I got this 00 gauge model, which I've then just put York Model Railway slate on the top, and then I've put a chimney in, and I've put a few extras in there just to make it look a bit more detailed, and I'm very happy with the results on that. So the station now looks the way it did back in the sort of 1920s, 1930s. So very happy with that. As you can see again, the detail to the front of the layout, we've got sort of fine turfs, and we've also got static grasses in place. I've now added some hose pipes there for filling up my carriages or washing the carriages while they're in, and that's just solder painted blue. Then if we look across here, we've got what we've got here. First of all, the rear has been all detailed now. So the trees, I've made them myself. I got sea foam, and then I went out and picked up sort of dry sort of twigs, and then I hot glue gunned the sea foam to the twigs, and then sprayed on different fine foliage. And if you remember in one of my videos, I made some dry leaf using autumn leaves, which I then dried off in the oven and then broke up. Now you see that on Alan Hoodie Junction's channel. So I've done that to make them look like autumn trees, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I've got some more down there, and we'll have a look at those in due course. So this is the little sort of head shunt slash ash pit and coaling section for the steam locos. Again, if we just look in here, we've got a small tap with a blue hose. We've got, just there, we've got a wheelbarrow and shovel, and then we've got a paraffin barrel there. And then up here we've got a coal staith. Now that's real coal. Again, you can see the detail there I've put in with regards to a small wheelbarrow, a sort of garden fork and a shovel just to help load the coal into the wheelbarrow. There I've got a little wood pile. It's some pallets and some little strips of wood. The wood I've used for that is actually off the container of a round cheese that goes in the oven. Can't remember the name of the camembert. And I literally just saved it from Christmas. I thought that'll come in handy. And then I used the scalpel just to strip it to make little bits of strip wood for fueling, getting the coal locos, the steam locos going in the mornings. That's going to be the site office there, and you can see it's been updated with the modern health and safety warnings on the side there. Now this ground cover, this is something that I found on a channel called Plasmo, Plastic Models, and he does dioramas for tanks, etc. Now this is a mixture of plaster and very fine wood shavings or sawdust, which I managed to get from a local carpenter's for free. You just mix it together, add a bit of water, and it makes a really good sort of ground cover. And then once it's dry, all I do is I used watered down acrylics to give me the soil effect, and then I put on some turfs, and in some places I've put in some short static grass to give me that sort of effect. And what I used here was I used a set of Lego wheels and ran them in the actual sort of drying ground cover to give me the ruts of vehicles moving in and out the area. And I'm very happy with this. This is a small kit that I found on eBay, a white metal kit. It was meant to be a static boiler, but I've tried to make it look like a boiler that's just getting refurbished to go back onto a rolling chassis, rolling frames of a steam loco. Moving across, we've got our scrapyard with our local skip merchant there. And again, this is just bits and bobs, odds and ends from the layout that I've accumulated over time, and then just sort of glued in randomly just to make it look a bit of a scrap pile. You see it on quite a few heritage lines where they just sort of pile up sort of surplus to requirement or disused or scrap, either to be disposed of or to use at a later date, and that's what I've done there. So we've got like a small sort of Perkins generator there. We've got old wheel sets, wheelbarrows, the skip itself, oil drums, pillar drill, loads of stuff in there just to make the scene a bit more interesting. And again, I'm quite happy the way that's turned out. So again, as we just continue to pan across, we can see this part of the line where I've changed the different colour of ballast that I've used. So we've got some fresh grey ballast there with sort of the older brown stuff that's been in place in situ for a longer period of time. Then up the back here, we've got the sort of dark, I can't remember the name of it now. What's it called? It's Woodland Scenics, and it's the black ballast. I can't remember the name of it now. It'll come to me later. Anyway, so that's what I've used there. But then further up here, I've used real coal ash in the sort of ash pit there, and I've used real coal and coal dust in this location just to make it look a bit more realistic. Just when I noticed, this is a white metal Highland Railway water crane. Again, very lucky to spot that on eBay, and I snapped it up as quick as I could, and I'm very happy the way that's come out. And again, I just need to finish sort of bedding that in place with a bit more sort of foliage, static grass around it. So continuing on then to the sort of local maintenance area, a couple of ISO containers here. So this is again is it laser scale scenery, I can't remember the name, model scale scenery ISO container, 40 foot, and then that's a DAPL sort of 20 foot. And again, I've just weathered them up a little bit to make them look like you would see down at a heritage line. The local heritage line to where I am just now is the Watercress line, and I noticed they've got sort of bashed up ISO containers to store all their kit and equipment in. Again, another skip of my from my local supplier. Again, just to sort of make it look a bit more sort of in place. And then we've got the local sort of our little mess office for the actual maintenance shed where the guys can have a brew on their tea break. Again, we've got detail around the fueling point now, which I'm very happy with. And I've got these, excuse me, the camera works a bit dodgy. We've got these fire extinguisher boxes and little railway telephones. And again, I've dotted them about the place. So we've got some here. We've got some up against the shed here. And then we've got some around the fueling point as well, where the fuel's stored, just in case. So I'm really happy how this scene's turning out. And then again, we've got some of the larger trees that I made. And these are just twigs that I found out in the woods. And again, I've hot glue gunned in the seafoam. So it's looking quite smart, and it sort of draws your eye to the back scene as well, I feel. This then, you may remember before I had a sort of ratio carriage shed, which I had in place. Didn't look right, so I got this. This is actually the Gauge Master. I think it's Newford Hampton engine shed, but I've kit bashed it and I've cut it down to be a one road shed, because in my mind Strathpeffer is a very small railway and they wouldn't have room for a double road shed. So what we've done is I've cut it down to make it a single road shed, and then I've added a few extra bits on it just to make it look a bit more like it's getting used for local preservation and maintenance. Got a few extractor fans there, and then again we've got the sort of detail on the side. So we've got the Strathpeffer Spa Railway sign there, and then we've got the health and safety signs, etc. on the side. And then on the front we've got the sort of danger signs and the limited space or limited access signs there on the side. So coming round, first of all we've got this, this is an old Terrier Tank which I sacrificed. I used the running gear and chassis of it for my Highland Railway Terrier, but I didn't want to throw anything away, so what I did is I kept the tanks, which you can see on the floor, and I kept the chassis and I weathered them up and then put a tarp over it to make it look like it's in the middle of a restoration. And again, it's quite convincing, I feel. Then we've got the old Strathpeffer Spa Railway grounded van wagon. This is where the operation originally started, when it was just a couple of volunteers and not much money. And it's just been left there for posterity and a bit of extra storage. And you can see their engineer's wagon there, which they set the track, their original length of track, that's what they used. And it's now just been abandoned because over the years they've got more equipment and they no longer require that, and it's just been left to rust in the corner there for posterity. And then again, coming forward, we've got the standard Dapple JCB. Now I'm very happy with the way this has turned out. It's not the greatest of detailed models, but you know, with a bit of painting, a bit of weathering, and again, it all moves, so I can change it in position when I want to change the scene. The rear shovel works, and as does the front, that moves as well, so we can change it out. Yeah, very happy how that's turned out, and it just adds to the scene. We've got another sort of Dapple container there, which I've used a fiberglass pencil just to rub off the sides and a bit of light weathering on it, again for storage. These are the centre roll of dog poo bag rollers, and I thought I could use them one day. So what I've done is I've just stacked a few of them up to make them look like culvert drainage pipes, which are just waiting to be installed further along the railway as we expand the track towards Dingwall. And then looking in here, we've got some new sleepers just waiting to get loaded on the engineer's train, with some track waiting to get loaded on as well. So again, the scene is really sort of starting to develop, and I'm very happy on how it's going. And again, just in the foreground now, some of you may recognise these items. They were always dotted around, but they're now permanently fixed in place. So this is an old Airfix British Railway Guards wagon, 20 tonne, which I've just coloured up in sort of Dutch livery. Again, then weathered. And this is an Airfix 3F, which again weathered, and then just wrote on the side there, help us raise steam, donate today. And then we've got an old mainline iron ore bisque wagon there, again heavily weathered and just waiting restoration. And then a couple of wheel sets there, and then we've got some overgrown sleepers, and then some abandoned track. So as you can see, the layout now is really taking shape. And the next phase is to continue on with the detail on the station board. I have been focusing mainly on this board, getting all these sort of static grass in. As you can see, we've got sort of static grass here, and then across here. But I'm pretty happy how this is for now. I've still got a lot of detail to add to it, but I need to sort of focus on this side a bit more now and get things in place. Again, I need to work on what I'm putting up in that small corner over there. I'm thinking just behind the port cabin, a white picket fence to separate car park from work area, and then maybe a couple of picnic benches for the actual volunteers to sit outside the office, have a cup of tea before they actually set to work. we'll get a bit more detail in this location. I'm thinking maybe an open air shed of some description, just to keep the steam locos shaded from the Highland weather. And then we'll work out a bit more static grass, a bit more detail in this area here, and try and blend the colour change, the colour tone in here as well, where the two boards change. I've also got 2 DAPL home signals to put in. Now, the original station layout, there was a home signal roughly in this location here. So I'll be putting a home signal there, getting that wired in. I've also got some Train Tech welding simulators. So they'll be going inside the actual inspection pit there. And I've got an old Trian Class 37, which I've again painted in real Dutch livery, which I plan on permanently fixing to that location, and then having the sort of welder on permanent send there, so we can see it getting worked on. And I think that's about it, folks. So again, apologies for the long overdue update. Apologies for the rawness of this video. Apologies that there's no engines running. As you can see, the layout is currently sat on my living room carpet. But I thought I would take this time now just to give you a bit of an update, let you know that I'm still alive and still working away slowly on the layout. And hopefully, in the not so distant future, I will have some extra shekel in the bank, spring for a computer, and maybe actually start making proper videos again when I get round to it. But as you can see, the layout is coming along nicely. And hopefully next time you see it, we'll have some locals running. So stay safe, folks. I hope you're all doing well in the coronavirus situation just now. Look after yourselves. If you like the video, press like. If you want to subscribe, feel free. And we'll catch you in the next update. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. And hopefully we'll see you in the not so distant future. Bye for now.